The Ambience Project consisted of three main components: Twitter, a blog space, and Delicious, which was a bookmarking website. Twitter was mainly for the use of the class, where we could all interact and tweet about things we found interesting in society. Anything to do with our future in business, anything to do with what we found interesting. For me, that was sports, and anything related to classwork, and also just daily activity. We used our blog space to kind of convey messages that we thought were interesting. So any interesting topic that you thought, you could write about it on your blog space. And then for Delicious, all you had to do was bookmark websites and websites you found interesting and thought that were relevant to the class or to your own work or future research or anything. And I thought that was very cool. For Twitter, to keep in touch with the class, you hashtag RTCP042, which stands for Rhetoric and Composition 042. And then you just tweeted about anything you found interesting or wanted the class to know. For your blog space, or for my own personal blog space, I tried to focus on things I found interesting, which were athletics at Carolina, and occasionally I would talk about classwork. For the athletics part, I focused mainly on UNC basketball since that's a main sport here. For Delicious, I mainly bookmarked websites that were relevant to English class, but as the year developed, I began to bookmark sites that were interesting to me, like music sites or athletic sites. By the end, I was doing all of that in addition to bookmarking sites for other classes as well, so that became very important to me. The Ambience Project was challenging to me because it was hard for me to maintain a consistent use. I found time to do it, but it was very hard to find different topics to write about. If I talked about a topic in my blog space, I tried not to tweet about it too much, and I tried not to bookmark sites on Delicious very much either that had relevance to Twitter and the blog space, so I tried to create a variety. Although I thought it was pretty challenging to do over the course of the semester, I thought I found success with it. Through the blog space, I developed a rhythm. I began to create my own article, sort of, on the road to New Orleans. It kind of focused on the basketball team, and I thought that was very interesting, showed that I embraced it. I also developed a consistency with Twitter where I would tweet every day, every 2 days, and just whatever came to mind, whatever interested me, whatever I found interesting, and whatever I found relevant for the class. And then also with Delicious, as I talked about earlier, I bookmarked a variety of sites, anything from interesting to me, to English class, to other classes. And I thought that was very good to do. I thought that the Ambience Project was very interesting, mainly because of the freedom that it allowed you to have. It allowed you to write about whatever you wanted to, whether it's what interested you or what came to your mind at a certain time, or really anything else. It was very free-flowing and very relaxing. There was not a strict rubric or anything, and I thought that was the most interesting part. Other interesting parts about it were the connections that you made between classmates and between other people in the world. Twitter, you were able to connect to your friends, famous people, anybody you looked up to, anyone you wanted to, you were able to follow them and see what was new in their life. And I thought that was interesting. And then for Delicious, you were able to connect with people and to see what they were reading and to see new things in the world. And I thought all of these were very interesting. Part of the portfolio is to show how we have developed over the course of the year. And I felt like through this assignment, I showed that I have developed in several ways. For Twitter, I went from focusing mainly on class, and I embraced Twitter and began to tweet from all sorts of what was interesting, things in class, articles, videos, anything. I felt like I truly showed that I developed over the course of the year, embracing that. For my blog space, I've also developed going from random themes to a steady article. I went from writing about anything in class discussions, classwork, to writing about a steady theme, talking about the UNC basketball team and ways that they can improve and make it to the Final Four. And then I felt like I showed development through the Delicious website, from bookmarking sites just strictly from English class to personal interest in other classes. So I thought that through the Ambience Project, I showed good strengths in embracement, and and I felt like I showed strong developments over the course of the year, and truly embracing everything that we covered and everything that we talked about in class. The Ambience Project was a good project, and I really enjoyed doing it, and I think it's one of these things that will stick with me throughout my lifetime.